welcome, my fellow people. Welcome to the Bearded Brothers, yet another sports podcast where we are back again this week after I don't know, Chris, would you call it a crazy week in the NFL?
I would call it probably one of the most insane weeks that I've personally witnessed in the NFL.
I mean, we already talked about the fact that we had the largest comeback in NFL history,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that wasn't the only comeback.
Oh, there was so many
And
of them.
there were several games that had just wild endings.
Oh
We'll get
man,
to that. That was
yeah,
bananas.
absolutely bananas.
Absolutely fantastic bananas. Again, in case you forgot, I am Matt.
And I am Chris.
Fantastic. We are the Bearded Brothers, and we have started yet again another sports podcast with you. All right, so real quick before we get to our power rankings, because we'll get to the results after the power rankings. I want to shout out three stories real quick that have happened in the sports world. Two of them are NFL stories. One of them is a non-NFL story.
Right.
So we're going to start with that one. Congratulations, Argentina. They have absolutely won the World Cup at this point. Neither Chris nor I are soccer fans, but I do. Where was it? I think it was 2 decades plus they've been trying to win that again.
Roughly,
I
it's
think the
kinda
last time they
close.
won it was like '06 or something.
Yeah.
Lionel Messi, congratulations. I know I'm probably saying that name wrong, but
Is it, is it, isn't it Messi?
Messi?
I thought it was
Messi?
Messi.
I always thought it was
Messi.
Messier, but
I don't
Messi.
know.
Lionel Messi, good job. Well done. Also going to say that it did come out that he has re-signed with his European club, Paris Saint-Germain,
I think
PSG.
so with that PSG. Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought that
he's
was.
for
I
another
thought
year.
PSG was Paris Saint Germain.
Yeah, but I'm trying to say it French sounding.
Oh, okay.
Paris
Yeah.
Saint-Germain.
How the hell you want to say it? Yeah, Paris Saint Germain.
I want to sound French. So French people go ahead and blow up my pronunciation because I know it was.
Dude, there's not a single French person that watches this damn show. Let's be honest.
yet.
Even later, I don't know if
You know
they
what?
will because we're not talking about football.
I would hope that there are no French people watching this, but there could be
Oh.
people who speak French because we
That's
could
true.
be being seen in
French
Canada.
Canada. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Fair enough. Hey, you
And,
French
know,
Canadas, like, let's relax on the Frenchness, all right?
French Canadas? How about French Canadians?
No, I like Canadas better.
Okay, we'll go with French Canadas then. Um, okay, so real quick then, second quick story. Our condolences to the Harris family. For those of you that don't know, Franco Harris died at the age of 72 a couple of days ago, 2 days before the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. For those of you who would be watching this who are entirely too young to know what the hell I'm talking about, Google it, look it up on YouTube. I'm sure it's on there.
Oh, 100%.
It was absolutely amazing play. It was ridiculous, and it's one of the most amazing things you'll ever watch in your
Yeah,
life. I can't
it's
describe it
nuts.
enough to do it justice. But yeah, Franco Harris has gone down in history for that play.
Yeah.
Absolutely deserves all our condolences to him and his family. And he did a lot of good in the community. A lot of players have spoke out about how nice he was and everything else. The final one, for those of you who are whatever you are on it, Antonio Brown. The arrest warrant for him in Florida has been rescinded. They are not going to pursue charges against him. I don't even remember what he did, but you know what?
I don't know if they ever came out and said exactly what they were pursuing him
I
for.
don't think they did either. But the point is, I kind of feel bad for him. I always kind of have.
I mean, the
I
thing
feel
is, it's like a 50-50, right? He partially does it to himself. Like, that
that's
whole,
why I
like,
feel
scandal
bad.
with the Raiders shit, like, that was 100% on him, right?
Well, but that's the thing. That's why I feel bad for him, because I think there's something wrong mentally with him that he needs to get help for.
Well, unfortunately,
And
there's a lot of people that are, that a lot of people that tend to be that kind of gifted individuals tend to come with a two-sided coin, right? There's typically something
Yeah.
that's not quite fully there, right? Unfortunately, like, that's not always true, but that is an uncommon thing to happen for people who are talented.
No, it isn't, and that's kind of like what I was getting at is, without spoiling too much, both you and I have done some therapy, and both you and I have gotten our heads kind of better than they were. So putting it out there, guys. Don't be afraid. Go get help if you need it.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do. Antonio, I know you're never gonna watch this
God, no.
because we're nobody. God no.
We're a bunch of nobodies.
But
yeah.
you know what? You know what? I wouldn't put it past him to Google his name.
Yeah.
And see what comes up. At
Yeah,
least it might
but
come up one day.
maybe, but I doubt it would probably get addressed.
Yeah.
I mean,
Anyway, point being,
yeah.
if you need help, bud, get it.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Don't surround yourself. Don't ever always surround yourself with yes men, because the problem with that then is all you get is an echo chamber of your worst ideas.
yeah, exactly.
All right, so I think we've gone over those. That's probably good for now. Let's get into the power rankings.
Oh boy.
Rankings of power it is.
The ranks of power.
We have the power. Okay.
Lightning flashes. All
right. So power rankings. We do remember mostly what we had last week. So I'm going to start real quick here. I'm going to say my number 10 team did not change.
Oh, that's surprising. Okay.
My number 10 team has remained my number 10 team, and that is the Detroit Lions. They stay at number 10.
Interesting choice. That's an interesting choice.
That's it, because they absolutely came back. They beat the Jets. By the way, that Jets game last night, we're going to get to that.
Okay.
I have some takes on that.
Okay, fair enough. I actually get to watch a lot of it, so.
I actually watched the whole thing.
Okay.
Or at least most of the whole thing.
Okay.
So the Lions do stay there. I know they needed that fourth quarter, last 2-minute touchdown from an unknown tight end who went some ridiculous amount of yards after the catch and ran people over and played a hero. And they came away with a 3-point win at the Jets.
Oof. Okay.
But you know what? That just proves to me that they're in the right spot. They still have a chance to make the playoffs. I think they could do it potentially, end their playoff drought.
That's
so
fair.
I'm going to leave them at number 10 for right now.
So I do actually have a mix-up at my 10. My 10 is a team that was previously unranked amongst both of our ranking boards.
Ooh,
So it's a completely new team to our rankings entirely. And I am going with the Chargers at an 8 and 7 right now.
About throwing them on.
They're playing just well enough that I believe that they actually have a legit chance at the playoffs. Now you will see what team I end up dropping off, and it'll be quite obvious which team I ended up dropping off. The team I dropped off dropped like a stone this week. Like they failed spectacularly compared to what I was expecting from them. So
I totally understand, and I kind of dropped a team that I feel is the same. They still have a good record. They still have a chance to win their division. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah. So, yeah, basically the Chargers have just continued to improve over the entire year. They started out slow, which was very unexpected for a Justin Herbert-led offense compared to the previous 2 years. Their offense has looked very wishy-washy.
Anemic.
Yep, their defense has been incredibly anemic. Granted, I will say that on both sides of the ball, they have dealt with a lot of injuries. I mean,
they lost Joey Bosa real early.
Yeah, they lost Joey Bosa early. They've been dealing with constant injuries for their wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
So you just never know who's even playing because they're constantly just on that, partially injured, partially not, ankle injuries, hip injuries, like the very minor details, right? But it's just enough that makes them so they can't play or they're limited. So that does hamper quite heavily. What I will say, though, is I've never been that impressed of Brandon Stanley as a coach. He's done just enough to continue staying a coach. And if they make playoffs, I'm sure that'll continue to happen. But I am starting to wonder if this Brandon Stanley experiment is working.
Isn't it Staley?
I thought it was Stan Lee, but it might be Stanley. I thought it was Stanley. Staley. I might be wrong on that. I might be Staley.
Yeah, Staley. Staley.
Oh, Staley. Okay. Either way, I'm kind of at a point where is that working? Do they need to move off of them? I think he's okay enough at the moment, but he's definitely. You gotta start asking questions, maybe if that might need to happen. And there's been a lot of rumors that even like Sean Payton has visited the Chargers head office apparently at some point over this
I
year.
will I will
So
give you the perfect comparison that I think Brandon Staley is to another head coach,
okay, go ahead.
Jeff Fisher. He is a 17 currently. Brandon Staley is 17-14. He is the
Yeah,
definition of 500.
yeah, yeah. I would see that. I mean, they got significantly better when Justin Herbert started balling out those first 2 years, but it's definitely starting to slow down again. And I'm starting to wonder, is it? I mean, you got obviously an incredibly talented QB there, no questions asked. So why? And you got good wide receivers, and you got a decent defense. Why the fuck are you 8-6? Like you should be.
Yeah, you got that.
Like I get you're dealing with injuries this year and stuff like that, but even at the beginning of the year when they had all their pieces, they still didn't look quite right. Some things didn't quite fit. So I don't know if it's time to move off the coach yet, but I do feel that they're not far away from being like, how the hell do we have this star-studded offense and star-studded team, and we're still going 500?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's something they have to start asking themselves a little bit.
It was actually a concern of mine. I almost thought the same thing about Zach. What's his last name up for the Bengals? There was a time before they got Joe Burrow, or that first season even when they got Joe Burrow, people were like, this guy might need to go. This guy might not be it.
Well, they also didn't have, at the time, he inherited a team that really didn't have an offensive line. They didn't have a lot of other things. They had two decent wide receivers. Then they got Jamar Chase, and everything took off.
Now this is what I will say, is that last season they played very, very well. But again, they did the same thing that they did last season, this season, which is they started moving. Now they're going back at it again. The question remains is this team just a slow moving to get together going offense? Or is something wrong with Zach's coaching? Like, does he have an issue and the team just has to kind of rally around Joe Burrow because everyone knows Joe Burrow runs that team, basically? Again, questions of coaching, but, wrong segment for that.
Yes, we'll get to that eventually.
I got lots of questions after this week. That's all I got to say about that.
I do, too. All right. So, you done with your number 10?
Yeah, I have.
Alrighty. I'm going to move on to my number 9. This team, so I'll say right out, the team of mine that fell out is Baltimore. I dropped them completely off my rankings. If you lose to the Browns 13-3, you don't even put up a fight.
Oh.
I mean, you've got a good enough defense to put up a better fight than that, and you've got to find something that doesn't require Lamar Jackson to be Superman all the time.
Which they've proven before they can. I don't know what happened here.
That's why I'm docking them right here. So my number 9 team also dropped like a stone. Guys, Dallas, you got to figure out how to hold a lead.
Oh my god, dude!
Got to figure out how to hold a lead. But you know what? We all picked it. You and I both picked it.
We did.
Jacksonville did come back. They did win that game. They won last night. Jacksonville is hot right now.
They are.
They are. Trevor Lawrence looks like an absolute monster of a human being. But still, Dallas, figure out how to. But my God, man,
That's fair.
You know what though? Dallas is in a position where this week you're going up against an Eagles team that doesn't have Jalen Hurts. They are going to be starting Gardner Minshew. Guys, you've got.
This is the point where you need to win.
You've got to figure out, if you don't win this one, you're not in my power rankings next week. I don't care what happens next.
They have to win this game. Yeah.
You have to. This is a must-win. You have to beat the Eagles to show that you still have life. Oh my God.
Especially without Jalen Hurts, you have to win. If Jalen Hurts ends up going in that game for whatever reason at the last minute, then you're kind of fucked, I think. But but I don't think so. I think they're going to hold him because they know the Eagles know outright that Hurts is their chance at a Super Bowl. I would tend to agree, but to be fair, there is an argument that be made if they want to continue with their 1 seed, that they might end up playing Jalen to get that first seed bye because we're not the Vikings are not far away from getting that 1 seed.
No, but
So if they want to guarantee their 1 seed, they're going to play Jalen.
I would say go ahead and sit him this week because he may be ready to go then next week.
Maybe. I'm just saying I would not be surprised to see a last minute Jalen, especially if the first half ends up going bad and they're like, Jalen, can you play the second half? We really need this fucking win.
Maybe.
I could
and it
see
would
that.
depend how far out of it they are by the second half as to whether or not they even want to risk that shoulder.
I agree. I'm just saying I would not be surprised. I've seen stuff like that is all I'm saying. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. And to me, I don't think it matters if they get 1 or 2. I think as long as Jalen is there for the playoffs, I think they're gonna go pretty far.
You would be surprised. I think more and more teams are really pushing for that 1 seed because they want to play all of the playoff games at home, and that's what that would basically allow them to do. Right?
Yeah, but yeah.
Can you imagine? Especially Philly. Come on, no one wants to go play in Philly.
No, you're right. But
so
still, anyway,
I mean, that is a big home field advantage for them.
There's another discussion.
Sorry, we are getting off topic again.
It's okay. Cowboys number 9.
Oh, you put Cowboys at 9.
I put the Cowboys at 9 because you lose to the Jaguars, you can't hold a lead, you almost lose to the Texans. No, you drop.
The funny thing is, I'm also putting the Cowboys at 9.
Same reasons.
I just don't have faith in them. They're too wishy-washy, man. They can come out and beat anybody one game, and the next game literally lose to anybody. They almost lost to the Texans. All right,
to be fair, so did the Chiefs. But
so did the Chiefs, which, by the way, when we get there, yeah. Listen, the Dallas Cowboys are a team that are the most frustrating, actually, to rank because of the fact that they are so up and down. Like, the 1 week they could be in the top 5, it could be top 3 even, and then the next week, now we're seeing it in the power rankings, they're in the bottom 10. Heck, there could be times, I bet there were times this week that if we were doing this show, I wouldn't have even had them on the fucking rankings. That's how much they've been all over the place. They're so tough to rank.
Yeah, so far they are. All right, number 8. You know what? I'm going to take a page out of your book. You had them in your rankings last week. They're in my rankings again this week. And even after last night, they probably should have moved up, but I left them where they are for right now. The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Let's go, Jags. Duval. Let's go.
Okay, they're number 8. They've got a real shot to win the AFC South.
They do.
Then make the playoffs, which I don't think there's an AFC team that wants to fight them in the playoffs.
Right now? No, fuck no.
Right now? No. They're a dangerous team. They're coming on strong. Like I said, their receiving core looks like a beast. Evan Ingram is balling.
Oh, don't even forget ETN. ETN is playing really well.
And even, like we said, why did I forget his name again?
Which one?
Whatever.
Fair. They got good pieces,
Yeah. Oh, even the
and their defense is back to being almost that scary Jacksonville defense that we thought of several.
Saxon.
No, but it's not far away.
Jacksonville, but it is a lot better. I mean, Allen and Walker and. I mean, this is close.
This is. I would say they're 75% Jacksonville at this point. They're close.
And that middle linebacker, I'm not.
But with a way better offense, it's just nuts.
Yeah, I'm not even going to bother trying to say his name. But yes, their offense is very scary. This offense reminds me of the old school Jacksonville offenses that would go to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, when they first got introduced. Yeah,
Jimmy Smith and Mark Brunell.
The first
Fred Taylor.
2 or 3 years that they were in the league or whatever.
Oh my God, they were so dominant, and then they would never make the Super Bowl. AFC Championship game every year, get blown out.
Yeah, I think that happened the first 3 years when they were in the league, and then everything fell apart after that too.
And then everything fell apart, and then they got really, really hot a couple of years ago, and then that fell apart.
Fell apart very, very fast. Yeah.
Yeah, the Jalen Ramsey.
It's because all they had was a defense. That was the problem with that team.
Yeah, and then that defense didn't even hold up the following year.
No.
Yeah. So anyway, That's my number. That's my number 8 team. Jaguars. Duval is on there. Good
That's
job, guys.
that's fair. That's respectable. That's very respectable. Number 8 is gonna be Miami for me. Miami's not moving. They're still number 8.
Okay, that's fair. That's
I
fair.
for good reason. Like, don't get me wrong. They put up a hell of a fight against the Bills. You could argue that they should move up, but they didn't win. And unfortunately, this league is determined by who wins and who loses. So it doesn't matter how hard you put up a fight if you still lose. If they would have won that game, they would be pumped way up my rankings.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
they played good enough to tell me that, yeah, 8 is a good spot for them. They're very good. They're not dominant.
I, on the other hand, moved Miami up 1 slot to 7. Well, not 1 slot. I think I had them at 9.
Yeah, you had them at 9 last week.
So I moved them up 2 slots to 7.
Yep.
Just based on the strength that they found a run game, they played real hard, and the Bills needed a lot of stuff to go right to beat them.
I don't disagree.
It's not like the Bills blew them out.
No.
That came down to the wire. You played super duper hard. Yeah, you didn't get the win, but you showed enough that I think most of the teams beneath you, if you play that hard against them, going to be hard pressed to beat you. Going to be hard pressed to play against you. I think that they found whatever they were missing for those couple of weeks. They did not look nearly as anemic as they have. I was much more impressed with Miami this week than I have been recently. If they can keep this up, I think they'll do quite well.
I agree. I think my 7 spot is also not going to move. The 7 spot is the Minnesota Vikings. I debated upon moving them. I didn't do it. I felt it wasn't fair to move them because we had judged them based upon a game they had already played the previous that week, and so for that reason, I didn't want to move them from their spot, so they stay at 7.
Okay, if you'll remember last week, I had the Vikings at 5.
You did.
This week they go to 6.
Oh, you did.
But
move
that's
them down.
not because I'm moving them down.
No, it's because other people got pushed up. Yeah, I get it.
They got passed.
Yeah.
They got passed. But other than that, yeah, no, the Vikings are still the Vikings. We talked about that last week. We'll see what they do, and they're up. They should win this game.
Who are they playing again?
I'd have to look. We'll get to that.
Okay, well, we'll have to take.
All I remember is that
I think it wasn't it like the Giants or something like that. I think they're playing.
I think
the
it's
Giants.
the Giants.
Yeah.
They should win that game.
They should.
So that's my number 6. Your number 6.
My number 6. Call me a little crazy. That's fine. But number 6 is the Jacksonville Duval boys. Duval. I put him at 6, boy. Like,
no,
this
I get it.
This might be an overreaction, but like they are on a hot streak though. They're definitely on a hot streak, and they continue to impress every week.
It's a little bit of an overreaction, but I'm not. You know what? Not gonna hate on it.
Hey, they keep winning every week, and I'm at this point saying Jacksonville is going to the playoffs. I don't know if they'll win their division. I think they will because I think that's the only chance they have at making playoffs. I might be wrong on that. They could. I'd have to check this playoff picture to see if they can squeak by on a wild card or not. But here's the thing: I think they're definitely making playoffs. I think now as far as how far they make the playoffs, I don't think they're going to get too far. They might.
After last night, they're 7-8, and currently the Titans lead the division at 7-7.
Yeah. So I think they're winning their division. I think they're going to beat the Titans. The Titans have been getting worse while the Jacksonville Jaguars have been getting better. I think that they will make playoffs. I don't think they will make a deep run, which is why I'm putting them at 6.
And also, we'll get to that. That's going to be another discussion for the Titans.
Yeah.
We'll get there. All right, so that's your number 6. That's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
So number 5, my number 5 team did drop. They were number 4 last week. Again, because they got passed, not because they played horribly. And that's the Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
I'm putting them at 5. They did get passed by someone because the Bills are still playing well. They're still winning games, but you're starting to sweat it a little bit. Like at the very first opening of the season, they were not sweating things.
Nope.
They were absolutely crushing people.
Yep.
They've lost some major pieces on defense. Their offense is starting to struggle a little. You're beginning to see it. They really needed the snow that came in the fourth quarter to beat Miami, which I do think helped.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, the Bills moved down to 5 from 4 again, mostly because they got passed, not because I think they're a bad team or anything.
Um. Yeah, I can understand that, but I don't think my number 5 is going to change. My number 5 from last week was the Bengals, and I think they're going to stay that way. We're going to have my number 5 be the Bengals. Uh, the only reason I didn't move them up, I thought about moving them up, but the problem that I have with the Bengals is kind of like what happened. Like they're kind of doing the same thing they did last year, and also kind of what the Minnesota Vikings have done, which is they had to come back to win that game. And so I'm not seeing a fully complete football team, one that's winning all sides of the football throughout the entire game, right? And so that's what keeps me bringing them to number 5, because they're still not quite that dominant football team that I see from the teams above them.
Okay. So my number 4 is going to cause some controversy with you.
Okay.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Guys, I got to say this. If you let the Houston Texans take you to overtime,
you're gonna put the Chiefs at 4? That is fucking disrespectful, bro.
You know what? Don't let the Texans take you to overtime, and I won't disrespect you like that.
That's mega disrespectful. I can understand moving them a little bit.
Actually, they only did move down 1 spot.
I know, but
if you remember, I had them at 3 last week.
I don't know, man. 4? Fuck, man. You're gonna.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Again, mostly this is because you let Houston take you to over. Now
I know, but the other 3 teams you got above them, like, I don't know if I agree with that.
Hold on.
I don't know, man.
The reasons why, I beginning to wonder about Houston. We'll get to that. So I didn't move them down based solely on the fact that they went to overtime. They did win that game.
They did.
I moved them down
because it was a bit ugly, but
I'm doing the same thing you're doing with Jacksonville. I'm doing with the team we'll get to for me that moved up. I'm probably overreacting.
Probably.
But if we'll get to that.
I can think of 2 teams. That's what I'm trying to figure out what that third one is that you bumped up. I know you got 2. I'm trying to. In a minute. If it's one of the teams I think it is, you are out of your damn mind. Anyways, we'll see. Who do I got it for? 4 is not moving. It is also still the same from last week, which was the Buffalo Bills. 4 is still the Buffalo Bills.
Sure. We had them both
they didn't smash the Dolphins, but they didn't lose either. I would say it was a marginally comfortable. Like, it wasn't like, it was a close game, and they still had to, prove that they were better, but they didn't. It wasn't like an extremely tough fight. Like, it was a battle, and it was fun and enjoyable, and I think they played well, and I think they
absolutely.
did. And I think the Dolphins played well. Don't get me wrong either. I think they both played well, and I think the Bills just proved to be a better team in general. So 4.
No, I'm not going to say that you're wrong on that. All right, so here's the team that moved up. Again, I'm overreacting. I know I am.
Who the fuck do you have at 3, bro?
I had them much lower last week. But you know what? They're doing exactly what they did last year. They're looking strong, and I'm moving them up just based on how well they're playing now.
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati Bengals, baby.
Wow.
The Bengals and Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are number 3. I honestly feel like they've gotten so much better. And if I'm the Chiefs, I'm looking at the Bengals who are starting to.
I don't see it, man.
But I'm looking at them who are starting to play real well.
Don't get me wrong.
I'm getting a little worried.
Don't get me wrong. I have a Bengals jersey with Joe Burrow's name on it. Okay, I am a Joey B fan.
No, I understand exactly what you're saying.
Here's the thing.
Much like you overreacted to the Duval boys, I'm overreacting to the Bengals now.
I just don't see them being more complete than the Chiefs. I just don't. And
again, this may be a week-to-week thing. I don't know, man.
I think you're insane.
I feel it, man. I feel it.
I think you're just insane.
Call me crazy.
You are crazy. You are literally crazy.
Yes, I love being crazy.
I don't see the 3. I could see them being in the top 5 easy, but I don't see 3. I don't see it, man.
Just wait till we get to my picks from this week. You'll be crazy then.
You're always crazy. That's nothing new.
So real quick, aside. I went to do an appointment for acupuncture, and I saw one of my friends there, and I was like, "Hey, if you want to see us make idiots of ourselves on camera, you should totally watch." And he goes, "I don't need a camera to do that. I know how stupid you are already."
Pretty much.
Anyway, all right. So your number 3.
My number 3 is going to be. It's a bit of a heartbreak for me. Not gonna lie.
You dropped the Chiefs,
but if you tie the fucking Texans and take it into OT, you get dropped 2 spots to fucking 3.
I'm gonna be interested to see who your number 1 is now.
They do drop to number 3. I didn't want to drop them that far, but based upon the other 2 teams, it just made sense in my mind. I think the Chiefs sorely underperformed. They can easily make it back to number 1 next week, but that was abysmal from them. That was abysmal.
On what happens this week, I could see the Chiefs jumping back up into my top 3 again. Yes, yep. Absolutely.
So,
all right. So number 2 for me, didn't change. San Francisco 49ers. Gonna leave them right where they're at.
Fair enough.
I think they're probably one of the best teams in the NFC right now.
Yep.
Certainly one of the most complete teams. They don't have the better record than a couple of teams.
I mean, they had to be fair. They did have a bit of a slow start at the beginning of the year, and I think that's really what it was.
Yeah.
If they had a better start, they would be a way better record.
If I'm the Vikings, or if I'm, even the Eagles, I'm worried about the
49ers. Oh yeah, 100%.
They're
no chumps. No.
Yep. But yeah, nope. They're staying right where they're at.
That's fair. My number 2 has moved, obviously, being that the Chiefs have moved to 3, so that means everybody slides around a little bit. So number 2, I am putting the Eagles. The Eagles are number 2.
Which means we did the exact same thing we usually do. We flip-flopped 1s and 2s.
Yep. Don't get me wrong. I think the Eagles are a good team. I think they are a great team. I think that they are a very well-rounded team. Obviously, with the Eagles being number 2, that means number 1 is going to be the San Francisco 49ers. And it just comes down to the simple fact that we talked about before. While the 49ers have, I think, on paper, the worst record right now, I think they arguably also have a more rounded team. I don't know.
I honestly feel like that would depend, because I feel
and
like
you could definitely make an argument where I'm wrong on that, but I think that the team has. I'll put it this way to make it a little bit more easy from my perspective. I think. Oh, I got fucking hair in my mouth.
Happens to me all the time.
Yeah, fucking beard hair probably. Anyways,
beard hair.
Yeah, or mustache. Anyways, the reason why I did it the way I did is simply due to the fact that I think Philadelphia has a more explosive and a better offense, but I think the 49ers have a better defense than the Eagles. And, the whole adage that defenses win championships, I'm just slightly favoring the 49ers over the Eagles. It isn't like we're talking like hands and feet above. We're talking like if they were lined up and you were measuring like, oh, the Eagles are 6 foot, but the 49ers are 6.5 feet. Like, we're talking like it's a barely significant edge in my book. But I do place the 49ers there. Also because fuck the Eagles.
Yeah, I understand.
There is a half point disadvantage for fuck the Eagles. I'm sorry.
See, and I've got the Eagles at number 1, and I just feel like sometimes the explosive offense can beat the defense, and I feel like they'd be hard pressed to contain a guy like Jalen Hurts, and that's really what it comes down to for me. Is they've got this 2-headed monster at running. They have 8 Pro Bowlers. They're a very complete team. Yeah. I honestly feel like that's going to be the NFC Championship game in my mind, and it's going to be fun to watch.
I don't know if that will be the NFC Championship game, but it would be an interesting watch.
It would be an interesting watch.
Here's the thing, with how this year has gone, nothing is predictable. Just because they're 1 and 2 doesn't mean they're going to make the championship. Like, I would not be shocked to see neither one of them even make the championship. To be completely honest with you, with how this year has gone, I would not be shocked at all.
All right. So, with that being said, quick little thing. Since we got power rankings done, I want to call it Whoopsie.
Huh.
These are little errors we made last week. I'm going to get to them before we get into the weekly picks. I wanted to do it at the top of the show, but I forgot. So a couple of things I'm going to say. First off, I'm sorry. I forgot that Russell Wilson was out with a concussion. When I said I wanted to see if Russell Wilson can repeat the form, he was.
I completely forgot about it too. Yeah.
Yeah, didn't play.
Nope.
Also, I'm sorry to Bills fans. It's not Ralph Wilson Stadium anymore. It hasn't been Ralph Wilson Stadium since 2015. It is now High Point Stadium.
Yeah.
Or Highmark Stadium. One of those two. My bad.
Yeah, that's a fuck up right there. But it's a little oopsie. It's a little oopsie.
Little oopsie. See, I grew up with it being Ralph Wilson Stadium, though. When I last really paid attention to the Bills, it was Ralph Wilson Stadium.
Yeah.
The new stadium is its new name this year. High Point, Highmark, whatever it is. I'm not trying to be mean.
Yeah, I think it's
I just can't remember which one it is. I think it's Highmark.
Is it Highmark?
It might be Highmark. It might be High Point Stadium.
I think
either way.
It makes more sense for it to be a Highmark because High Point is a gun, so
yeah,
it's probably Highmark.
Highmark Stadium. They are a medical insurance group.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's Highmark.
Yeah, the point is, for it is now Highmark Stadium. It was Bills Stadium last year. I forget what it was called before that. After they lost Ralph Wilson Stadium, but the point is, when I last paid attention really much to the Bills, it was Ralph Wilson Stadium. So my bad.
Yeah.
All right, we got that out. All right. So do we want to do the weekend review?
Yeah, let's do the weekend review. Let's see what we got right and what we got wrong. I will at the end of this segment I will put up on the right up to the top left will be my scores that say like how well I did last week, and over on his top right over here will show his scores up in the corner way up there.
All right. So starting off, Dolphins Bills. We both picked the Bills, and we were both correct.
Which, that's not surprising at all.
No.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I thought the Dolphins stood a chance coming into that, but I am legitimately not shocked in the slightest to see the Bills ended up taking over the Dolphins. Like, the Dolphins could have won, legitimately, but I'm not surprised.
Could have, but neither of us are. Second game, Falcons Saints. We both picked the Falcons, and we were both wrong.
We were.
Desmond Ridder did not turn out to be the savior of the Falcons, at least not in his first game.
Not that
Maybe
first
he
game,
will be
anyways.
eventually. Yeah, no, the Saints beat them. I told you it was going to be one of those slugfests. Sadly, we were both wrong.
We were very much wrong. I mean, that's just not surprising. Like, this is one of those. Like I said, this is one of those seasons where it's not surprising. To be honest,
if I remember right, though, also right now they don't have Kyle Pitts.
No,
they are.
And it was still a rookie performance.
Yeah, no, and at this point this year, I think they're just trying to see what they have in rookies.
Yeah,
they know what they're going to do next year. I think they've pretty much washed their hands of this season. Okay. Steelers Panthers. We split on this one. Mm-hmm. I said the Steelers defense would carry the day. You said the Panthers would win. You, sir, were wrong.
I was wrong today. Yep.
The Steelers did win that game, and I do think that what it came down to was Mitchell Trubisky did not turn the ball over.
That's true.
That's really what it came down to.
Because here's the thing. Like there was definitely moments in that game where the Panthers had clear opportunities to take the lead and win that game. Now, I'll say this. It was an incredibly boring game.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't think...
We both called that one.
And I don't think either team really won, like, just because they had more score. I mean, they did win, but it wasn't like you won. It was definitely I guess somebody has to win.
Somebody had to win that one.
Yeah.
But TJ Watt still looks like a monster.
Yeah.
That defense still looks really good if they can find it. And you know what? Najee Harris.
Najee Harris is definitely like one of the better parts of that team.
If you can find a passing game to go with Najee Harris with that defense, you'll probably be a really good team again.
The problem is you just need a QB and a couple wide receivers.
Yeah. And hopefully you can get one this draft. Good luck.
Good luck. Yeah, exactly.
Or you can sign Baker Mayfield. Or trade for Zach Wilson.
I don't think keep the guy you have right now, the rookie. I mean, he's not any worse than any of them.
All right. Eagles Bears. We both picked the Eagles. We were both right.
Gee, what a fucking shock on that one.
What a shock on that one. I will say though, I was right about Justin Fields too. We'll get to that.
He did play well, like way better than he has in the past. He definitely balled out.
Yep. So we'll get to that though. But yeah, what a surprise. Eagles pick up another win. Sadly, they have lost Jalen Hurts for this week with a sprained throwing shoulder.
Yeah.
But you know what? They won. The Bears did make a game of it.
They did.
Eagles still won.
Eagles still ended up with the win. Yep.
Chiefs-Texans. We both called this a Chiefs blowout. We were both wrong. The Chiefs did end up winning.
The Chiefs did win, but it wasn't a blowout. Yeah.
It was not a blowout. We'll get to that again, too. Chiefs did win, so we both got that correct. But the Texans took the Chiefs to overtime. Hell of a game. Hell of a game, man.
You know what? I'm just gonna say it because I know we talked about doing this during the thing, about wins, losses, and how how that affected things. Here's the thing. This is a little unplanned, but the Texans, man, I think people love to shit on them because of their record, but I think they're a better football team than people give them credit for. I think they have a lot of good pieces and a lot of talent there. It's obviously not quite finished. It's not quite all there yet. But I think they're only like a couple key pieces away from being like a real team.
We'll get to that.
So,
I've got a take for that.
I don't want to shit down their throat too hard.
I don't either.
I mean the proof in the pudding is like they took the Kansas City Chiefs to OT. Like, don't get me wrong, the Chiefs played terribly, but there's still something to say for the Texans taking them to OT. There's still something there.
There you go. All right. Cowboys, Jags. We both picked the Jags. They did make the comeback win. We were both correct.
Duval.
Not much to say there. I think we all know what happened there. Lions, Jets. We both picked the Lions. We would both be correct. Yep. Jets are in free fall.
And remember what I said. I said, as much as I like the Jets, I think they are the true fakes. I think they had a good record to start the year because they had... They at the start with, they had Zach Wilson, then they managed to put in Mike White, but then they had pretty easy teams, right? And so I anticipated that they were going to have a fall off and until they can get Mike White back in. And even then, I still don't think that they're going to be able to make the playoffs, but I could be wrong. We'll see.
We'll get to that again. Okay, Cardinals, Broncos. We split on this one. You said that the Cardinals with Colt McCoy would look a lot better because McCoy looks better running Cliff Kingsbury's system, and I said the Broncos should do it if they looked like they did last week. I was correct.
You were.
They did it without Russell Wilson.
They did it without Russell Wilson.
They brought in Brett Rypien.
Yeah, where the fuck that is. Here's the thing. I will say that I was wrong, but to be fair, Colt McCoy got a concussion in the first fucking quarter and didn't goddamn play the rest of the damn game.
He will not play again this week.
No, he won't play. So here's the thing. I was banking on the fact that Colt McCoy was going to play the entire game, not a third-string quarterback that no one fucking knows. So while I did get that wrong, it isn't because my prediction was wrong.
It's because
of what happened. Yeah. So I'm still labeling it as a loss. I still did lose, but I feel a bit cheated. I did feel a bit cheated.
I totally get that. Patriots, Raiders. Holy shit. The end of that game was bananas.
I don't even remember who I picked. I hoped I picked the Raiders.
We both picked the Raiders.
Okay.
We both picked the Raiders to win that one.
That was crazy.
I will tell you, there is still a crater somewhere that has a Mac Jones-shaped imprint in it from when Chandler ran him over.
Oh, ran his ass over, dude. Fucking hell, man.
Get out of my way. There is still a hole in the ground somewhere with his imprint in it. Yep. But yeah, we picked the Raiders. Crazy ending. If you guys haven't seen it, neither of our descriptions are going to do that justice. You need to go watch the end of that.
You have to watch that game. If you haven't somehow seen it and you're watching this podcast, go fucking watch it.
Go watch it. Put us on pause. Go watch that. We'll forgive you. It was bonkers.
It was nuts. And it was completely unneeded, so we'll get to that later. Completely unneeded play.
Completely unneeded. Titans Chargers. we both picked the Chargers. We would both be correct. It was close.
It was
but
close.
The Chargers pulled it out.
I was thinking that the Chargers had a good chance in that game, and I'm glad I was right. It was close, but I was glad I was right in the end.
I'm glad we were right too. Bengals Bucks. We both picked the Bengals. We were both correct.
Yep.
That's going to lead into another segment for me later. But yeah, no, Bengals, good job. Well done.
Yep.
Giants Commanders. I picked a tie.
Which you didn't get right.
I came very close.
You
to
came
that
close,
right.
but it's still wrong.
If it were not for the fucking refs.
Yeah, the refs.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
I would have picked a 20-20 tie, and they came damn close to doing it. Chris, you picked the Commanders. You would be wrong, so technically we're both wrong.
We're both wrong. Yes.
The Giants won that game.
Yeah, they did.
But again, I think that's mostly the refs. That's a whole nother segment we'll talk about.
Right.
All right. Last game, the Monday night game, Packers Rams. I did watch this for a while.
Yeah.
Packers were the winners. I picked the Packers. You picked the Rams.
It wasn't a good win. I'm gonna say this. It wasn't a good win, but they did win.
Rodgers played better than I don't remember his name anymore.
Baker Mayfield.
Whatever. I wanted to call him Blake Murphy.
No,
I don't know why.
It's Baker Mayfield. You got the B and the M, and that's all you got.
Pretty much. Rodgers played better than Mayfield.
So
I don't have any more to say about that. Sorry, Rams. You guys are in free fall.
So as far as that puts us for the week, interestingly enough, hey, that's not okay. You gotta be quiet, man. Okay, as far as week 15 predictions go, I am at a record of 8-5. You are at a record of 11-2. So, to be fair, I was purposely trying to split on some of them because we were starting to get too much to be similar. So I was taking more gambles, but
I felt like my gamble was the Giants Commanders, and I honestly feel like the Packers-Rams split was a good one. You weren't taking a gamble. You really believed in the Rams. I think the one that was the biggest split, probably the one you were pushing. Where is it? Cardinals-Broncos.
Cardinals-Broncos, yeah.
That's the one where you were really gambling.
I was gambling on that one, and I also gambled on the Panthers-Pittsburgh, but I did have a pretty strong inkling that Panthers had a chance on that one.
Yeah.
But it was still a slight gamble, and then the other one was, I lost 5 of them, but one of them was, like I said, the Cardinals. That one wasn't really fair, but it did happen. The Commanders one, I felt that Washington had been on an upward streak, and so I figured that they had a good chance against the Giants since they beat them last time. But I'm not surprised to see them split. It's really not surprising. And then let me see here. I took a couple gambles in there, but it is what it is.
I've got one for this week too. All right, so now that we've reviewed last week, let's go over this week.
All right.
I've got it all right here.
You got it all up? Okay.
I got it all up because I got a notepad where I'm going to keep track of our picks, so that I don't have to go back and rewatch the video later.
I was I was debating on doing that. I've been doing some of it on my phone, so like the scoring, I just did on my phone.
I'm doing it right here. Okay. All right. So we're going to skip the Jags and the Jets. We both would have picked the Jags, but we unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond our control, could not get this recorded Thursday, which is when we wanted to record it.
Yep.
So we're going to start Falcons-Ravens.
Oh, God. Are the Ravens... Do you know if Ravens have gotten Lamar back? Is Lamar playing or no? Do we have confirmation on that yet? Because I know that was a question on if he was going to be back or not.
You see... Lamar Jackson, one day ago, Lamar Jackson ruled out Tyler Huntley to start.
Okay. So now I have to decide between Huntley and Ritter. Which one looked worse and which one looked better? I'm going to go with the Falcons just because The Ravens looked atrocious against the Browns. And while the Falcons did lose to the Saints, it wasn't by like a huge amount. So I'm picking Falcons.
I will split with you and take the Ravens. While the Ravens did absolutely lose to the Browns.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the Browns have a much better defense. I honestly feel
That's
like
fair.
there's a lot more there than what the Falcons have defensively. I feel like the Ravens are going to be pumped up. They're going to find a way to win this.
That's fair.
I also feel like the Browns probably have a better offense than the Falcons do. So I feel like
Not
the
by
Ravens
much.
defense,
Not by much.
well, there's a difference between Nick Chubb and Cordero Patterson.
Yeah, not by much. Cordell Patterson's actually, there's a reason why he led the league in rushing yards for a while. Like, he did last year.
Good. Yeah, last year he did it.
And yeah, he's been injured. He's been injured for like the first half of this year.
Injured off and on. Yeah, but
when he's on and running, he's looking amazing every time he plays.
Yeah, he looks all right. He looks pretty good. The point is, he doesn't even lead their team in rushing. Tyson Algiers does.
Not currently, no.
So anyway, point is, I honestly, without Kyle Pitts, I feel like there's more. Like they've got more in Cleveland than they do anywhere else right now. For especially for the Falcons. So I think the Ravens are going to take that one. Sorry. Fair enough. Lions Panthers.
Lions Panthers. Ooh, I'm gonna go Lions. I mean, I don't have to explain myself.
I went with Lions as well. Neither of us have to explain ourselves. That one makes sense.
Yeah.
Bills Bears.
No.
Bills at Bears.
Bills. It's not a question.
Yeah.
Bills win that game.
They should win that one.
Bears might make it a contest, but it's still gonna be
Bears
Bills.
are gonna make it a contest, but I still think they're gonna win that one.
Yeah.
Ooh, another stinker. Saints Browns. Saints at Browns.
Browns.
I also went with the Browns.
I don't like it, but I'm going with the Browns.
It's in Cleveland. This next one should be a no-brainer for you. Seahawks at Chiefs.
Oh, Chiefs, yeah, no.
They're playing an Arrowhead? Nope.
The Seahawks have been on a downward spiral the last couple of weeks. I don't think that's going to change.
Nope. Giants at Vikings.
Vikings, no question. Like, the Giants are a decent team, but honestly, even if the Vikings start losing, I can't predict that they're going to lose that. Like, yeah, I don't see a way that the Vikings lose unless they just play terribly the entire time.
I also picked the Vikings mostly because it's at TCF Bank Stadium. I think the Vikings are going to pull that out.
You mean they're at US Bank Stadium?
They are US Bank, pardon, not TCF.
TCF is, that's the Gophers.
It's the Gophers, right?
Yeah.
No, US Bank Stadium, my bad. I know there were two bank stadiums. Bengals at Patriots.
Bengals. The Patriots looked really messed up against that Raiders team.
Now,
granted, don't get me wrong. The Patriots, that might have been the kick in the ass they needed to get their shit in gear, but I still think the Bengals are going to end up winning.
No, and there's a reason why. All right, here's where I am going to shock the world, but I'll see what you say first.
Okay.
Texans at Titans.
I assume by shock you're going to take the Texans. I could see the Texans winning that game, but I just realistically can't do it in my gut. I have to still take the Titans.
I did take the Texans because the Titans, they almost beat Dallas.
Yeah.
They took the Chiefs to overtime. They're playing a lot better than we think they are. And the Titans are starting Malik Willis because they do not have Ryan Tannehill.
That's true. Listen, don't get me wrong. I don't disagree. I understand the whole Texans pick. I think the Texans are a much better team than people give them credit for. And a lot of the games they have been losing have been like marginal losses. Like most of them have been within,
I think
a score.
As much as I made fun of them for keeping Mills as their quarterback,
Davis Mills is not a bad QB.
He's a lot better than I thought he was.
I said he's a low tier starter, and that's where I think he'll stay. He's a low tier starter. He's not going to be your high end starter, but he can manage games and he can play decent. He isn't going to be a He isn't going to be an Aaron Rodgers or even a Kirk Cousins, but he's a solid. Like I would say, he's like a younger Matt Ryan. He could eventually turn into maybe more of a Matt Ryan, but that's kind of what I see him as.
Okay.
But
yeah.
I just can't take the Texans on that. Like I know Malik Willis is the last couple times we saw him was rough. But here's the difference: is the Titans' running game. I don't think the Texans' defense running is good enough to stop the offensive running of the Titans. I think it's going to be a boring game that's mostly going to be fought in the trenches on the ground. I don't think there's going to be a lot of passing
because both of them have Davis Mills can also run.
Davis Mills can run and he can pass, but I don't think we're going to see any passing basically from the Titans.
We're going to see a lot of that, no. But I think it's going to be Pierce versus
It's
it's
going to be mostly on the ground. Yeah.
Yep. It's going to be interesting though, I think. All right, Commanders Niners.
Niners, not even a question.
I should say Commanders at Niners, and that's still not a question.
No, that's actually even more in the Niners than it was before.
That makes some people happy with this one. Eagles minus Jalen Hurts at Cowboys.
Like I said, the problem with the Cowboys is predicting what Cowboys team you're going to get. Because if you get the defensive team that showed up against the Vikings, against a non-Jalen Hurts team of the Eagles, the Cowboys could easily win that game.
Remember, it's at Jerry World.
It is at Jerry World. Who do we know for sure that the Eagles aren't playing Jalen Hurts? Or,
yes.
Okay, so they have ruled him out for the 1 year.
Out and said ruled him out.
For the rest of the week.
Gardner Minshew gets the start.
Oh, Gardner Minshew is the start. You know what? I'm going Eagles. I believe in the Minshew. Minshew mania.
I, on the other hand, will take the Cowboys at Jerry World over the Eagles and Gardner Minshew.
Dude, Minshew mania, man, it's a real thing. I'm telling you.
It is.
He's great at these one. Here's the thing. He's shown several times that he may not be the best starter. He can do it, but he's not the best starter. But when he shows up for like just these 1 or 2 games, he's lights out every single time he's done it.
You know what? If you're right, you're right. But I honestly feel like the Cowboys are going to be, especially after they blew that lead last week.
Oh, they're going to play their ass off, but I just don't see them beating the Eagles. Like with a 95% healthy roster, nah, fam. I just don't see it.
I do, sadly. Anyway.
Okay, we'll see.
We'll see. It is going to be an interesting week.
Yep.
The Raiders versus the Steelers. I should say the Raiders at the Steelers.
Raiders. The Raiders are winning.
I will take that. I will take that as well. I think they're playing really well. I think that win last week super energized them.
They needed that win big.
Packers at Dolphins.
Dolphins.
I also take the Dolphins.
It'll be a close game, I think, actually.
They played very well last week against a team that I think would have destroyed the Packers. So I honestly feel like they're finding their stride again. I think the Packers' playoff hopes end in Miami.
I think this is where it ends, yeah.
Because they need to win out to make the playoffs. I think it's over.
I think this is where it ends, yeah.
Broncos at Rams. I do not know if Wilson is going to be cleared.
He probably will be. Most often they only get removed for 1 week. Rarely is it 2. It does happen, but I have a feeling that he's going to get cleared if he hasn't been yet.
It doesn't say one way or the other yet. We probably won't know for a little while. I think it's going to be a game time decision.
I think, if I remember right, Cortland Sutton is still out or questionable, who is one of their big wide receivers, or has been in the past. This season he's been so injured. Who knows? do I still bank on the Broncos or do I take the Rams? The Rams looked like
you got to remember now,
shit
they
last
have
week.
another reason to play because they just lost a guy that helped them win their last Super Bowl that they won in Ronnie Hillman, who recently passed.
Yeah, no, but the Rams have played like shit though. Like last week they played
They
awful.
really have. Yeah.
I was expecting that Monday game between the Packers to be much tighter, and I expected a much cleaner game, and it really wasn't. But neither team, neither Rams or Broncos, have exactly played well this year, and both have looked incredibly terrible at times.
Agonizing choice, I know. Would it help
So
if
the
I told
question
you who
is-
I'm picking?
No, because I'm trying to decide who's on the up and who's on the way down. I think I'm gonna pick the Broncos only solely on the fact that they have more recent wins that have looked decent in comparison to the Rams, where they did have that one comeback drive from Baker Mayfield, but that was let's be honest, that was a pretty lucky drive. They even had some things go their way that maybe shouldn't have.
I firmly agree.
So.
I will be because I have no faith in Baker. I will absolutely be taking the Broncos. Even if Brett Ripon starts, he looked good last week. Even if they don't have Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy has done pretty decently recently. They've been finding some success. Also, the Tay train, choo-choo, coming through.
Yeah.
Latavius Murray. And we as Vikings fans have known that dude can run.
Oh, yeah.
So, Tay train coming through. I honestly think he's going to help lead them to victory. That's really what got them last week. Tay train. So, Tampa at Arizona.
Tampa.
Bucks at Cards. I'm also going to take Tampa.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's as clear as that. But again, I don't think Kyler's playing, and even if he
Kyler's
does,
out for the season.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think he's playing. I don't even think. I don't know if Colt McCoy is still in concussion or not.
They have ruled McCoy out
For this game.
Yeah, their third string quarterback.
And they looked terrible with their third string.
Yep, we'll get to that though.
And don't get me wrong, Tom Brady has fallen off a fucking cliff the last couple of weeks, but I just don't see a world in how they choke away this game.
I don't see a world in which the Cardinals can beat them. I agree.
They would have to choke so bad.
So the final game, well, this is technically the Monday night. We'll get to the following
Next
Thursday game because of how
we haven't been able to reach them. Yeah.
Yeah. Chargers at Colts.
Chargers. It's a bit of a gamble, but I'm taking it.
I will also take the Chargers. I don't think it's a gamble whatsoever.
I think it is.
The Colts have been playing halfway decently, but the Chargers' offense is finally clicking. They finally have a healthy offense. They're still missing Bosa, and I don't think he's coming back this year on defense, but I feel like there's just more there. I don't feel like there's a world in which the Chargers could lose that game.
I think it can exist. I think that it can, in fact, happen. The Colts, I mean, let's be honest. They put up 33 points on the Vikings. They're not a bad team. Granted, that some of that was done by special teams and their defense. Their offense played only okay. I do believe the Colts have a chance. I just don't think it's big enough to overcome the Chargers. That's why I picked the Chargers, but I think it's going to be a closer game than people think.
You could be right. Let's see for the final game. It's going to be the Thursday night game of next week. Let's see if I can finally get you to pick the team down here in Dallas. It is the Cowboys at the Titans.
Yeah, no, I'll go with Cowboys on that one.
I will also go with the Cowboys on that one. I just did with Malik Willis. I just think they're going to bottle up. I think they're going to bottle up Henry. Even has to bottle up Henry.
Yeah, I was going to say, even if somehow Tannehill plays that Thursday game, I still don't see.
He's actually been put on IR. He's been ruled out for the season.
So he's out for the rest of the season. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's still my point. My point still stands. Even if he was playing, I still don't see them winning against the Cowboys this game. Even if he somehow miraculously was able to play, like if they hadn't put him on IR or whatever, I still wouldn't have seen him playing and winning. So,
all right. What do you want to do next? Do we want to do the playoff picture?
Do we want to do a playoff picture right now?
Do we want to? If we don't, we don't. If you want to wait another week.
Might be easier to wait another week.
All right, let's wait another week on it then. Hot potato. So this is a new segment we came up with. Hot potato, hot potato, hot potato. The idea is we took the idea of a couple of different things, and so what it is you're either going to pass the hot potato because it's too hot to eat right now, or you're going to eat that potato because it's just the right temperature, meaning the take is good. It's a basic hot take segment. Has an interesting idea where we're also going to try to do a bit of what's called a higher register on it. I'll show you what I mean. I'll go first to show you kind of how that works. And Chris will judge whether or not...
We each get three.
Yep. And Chris will judge whether or not this first one of mine... I'm going to start at the top of my list. And we'll see how the takes go. We'll see if you guys like this. So, hot potato. Maybe the Vikings are just good enough to make the Super Bowl?
Ooh, are they just good enough to make the Super Bowl? I think in the right situation, they definitely have the team for a Super Bowl run. I will eat that potato. I absolutely think they have a good opportunity to do so. I'm not saying they will, but I think they have the right metrics and the right teams in place. If they don't this year, I could definitely see them making a chance next year at it. But I definitely think they have the right mindset, especially going into playoffs.
All right, fantastic. That's a fantastic one. All right, your first hot potato pick, please, sir.
Which of my three do I actually want to pick first? You know what? I'm gonna jump the gun because I think you have one of mine, so I'm gonna do it first.
Go ahead.
Maybe the Texans aren't actually that bad of a football team.
God damn it, that was my next one. I'm eating the shit out of that potato. I'm eating the shit out of that potato. I actually think you're right. I actually had that as my next take, so I'm going to skip that one, and I will throw a different one out. Maybe I should come up with more than three next time.
I know, right? That's what I'm thinking now, too. I was like, oh, shit, he's got the Texans on there. No!
Jump the gun on me, bastard. Okay, no, absolutely eating that potato. In fact, I'm gonna go fully loaded on that potato.
Oh yeah, I mean,
give me some sour cream, some cheese, some fucking bacon bits.
Hold on, I actually want to pull up the stats on this because I legitimately, if I remember correctly, they actually haven't lost that many games that were actually like blowouts. I think most of their games have actually been very close, so we could be talking about a completely different Texans team. And like let's see here. Let's go for the top. We got 7. No, that's preseason. Sorry, let's ignore preseason. So the first game, literally 2020 tie. They tied the Colts like right at the beginning of the season. Right, that's already like it's the Colts, but you know. Then it was Broncos 9-16 against a Broncos team that we know is not as strong as we expected. That's
Bears
a one score.
Beat them by 3.
Bears beat them by 3. Chargers beat them by 10. That's fair.
But the Jaguars.
They beat the Jags.
The Jags got hot.
Then the Raiders. Okay, they got smacked by the Raiders. That's fair. But then the Titans game, they lost by 7. Eagles, they lost. Okay, yeah, it's over 10-point lead, kind of expected. Giants, Texans, that was bad. That 24-16. But again, that's still one possession game, right? They could have still won that game, or at least tied it.
Kind of blew them out. That's
the Commanders did.
Game.
And the Dolphins, I mean, 15-point.
Two possession.
That's two possession.
Two possession
Browns.
And
then you got the Cowboys. You know, the Cowboys, they were close. The Chiefs, they were close. I think the Titans, they're gonna win. I think the Jaguars, they're gonna lose too. But I think they have the Colts again later.
They could potentially beat the Colts at the end of the season.
Like we're talking about half their games were potential wins. They had the chances to win. About close to half their games.
And Pierce is gonna be over 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
He's going to be over 1,000 yards rushing.
We could easily be talking closer to a 500 team than what we're getting.
Yeah, and I do think they're going to take a quarterback first overall.
Oh,
I don't think there's
like as much as I like Davis Mills, he's not their star QB.
Right? They're going to do that.
They need a star.
We'll see how it all goes. But interestingly, no, you're not wrong. So yeah, nope. There goes my second hot potato pick. So while I'm gonna do like I said, gonna eat that fully loaded.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna move to my third hot potato and have to come up with a third. So for my second hot potato pick, maybe the Jets and Niners wished they had drafted Justin Fields.
I'm not eating that potato. I don't have enough.
hot.
It's too hot. I'm passing on that. Listen,
Okay.
listen. I understand the idea of that, but I have not seen enough of Justin Fields balling out to take that bite yet. Because his first season was atrocious, and most of this
Well,
season hasn't.
he didn't play the whole season.
No, but what he did play wasn't good. He played like half the season. It was terrible.
Yeah,
And
but
this-
looking at it now,
And even this first half of this season was pretty bad for him. So he is
he's
getting
starting to
better.
what I'm
Don't
saying
get me
is
wrong,
he's
he's
starting to
getting
figure it out.
better.
We'll see.
But
It's still too hot for right now.
is he definitively like? Is he better than Zach Wilson? Probably, but we haven't gotten confirmation on that. And Trey Lance, we haven't seen like anywhere close to enough to determine if he should have been taken over Justin Fields or not. So I don't want to touch that one right now. If it would have been just the Jets, maybe that would have been a closer take. But San Francisco and the Jets, nah, that's too much. That's too much. We haven't seen enough of the one kid from the San Francisco. We have not seen enough
Trey
of
Lance.
Lance. Yeah, we haven't seen enough of Trey Lance. So I can't make that call
Okay.
yet.
All right.
Okay. Now what I gotta say is yeah, maybe this isn't necessarily a questionable hot potato, but I still think it's fun that I do want to address anyways, which is as simple as maybe the Broncos should have waited another season and tried to trade for Aaron Rodgers instead of Russell Wilson.
You know what? You know what? Based on what I've seen so far, yeesh. What would the package have been based
Right.
on what they did? You know, Noah Fant.
you
I'm
gotta-
gonna pass that for right now.
Really? Because I was
Yeah.
thinking if they wait another year, get Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Nathaniel Hackett. It's somebody he knows.
Because hold on, I think Russell Wilson has more football left in him than Aaron does.
Ooh, that's questionable as hell. But okay, I can understand. I
just
don't
think
agree.
He's younger. I think he's still a little more mobile. I think there's still more football there to be played. I think he's
Okay.
going to take some time to
Okay.
to
I think
to mesh.
I think Broncos fans might disagree with you right now, but that's
Oh,
fair.
they probably do, but let's give him another season, see how he meshes into that offense.
Okay.
See if it, because he looked good that one game when he ended up going out at the end.
He
with the
had
concussion.
one. Listen. Don't
He's
get me
had
wrong.
one really
One,
good game. Yes.
he's had one good game in comparison to what the Broncos were expecting to get. That's not good
absolutely.
enough.
I think that contract they gave it was
Oh,
stupid. I
the
think
Seahawks easily won that trade. It wasn't even
but
close.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Without that contract, maybe it's not.
Maybe it's not as bad, yeah. But that big contract at the beginning of the year, that was so dumb because they're like, they basically went all eggs in on one basket.
And yeah, no, that's not gonna, because I think they would have done that with Rodgers, and I don't think
probably.
he's proven. Yeah.
I think Rodgers is a better bet than Russell personally, but I can understand where you're coming from. I disagree with it, but I can understand it.
I also get where you're coming from, and like I said, I disagree with it, but it makes sense from a very, very specific point of view.
From a Broncos fan point of view, basically.
I'm trying to think of another take that would be considered spicy, caliente, hot. I got one for you. Maybe Taylor Heineke's done enough to earn a starting job with the Commanders.
You know, I've actually been saying that for the last like year and a half that he's played for him. I'll eat that potato. Now, here's the thing. As much as I think he's earned a starting spot, I don't think he'll keep the starting spot. Simply due to the fact that if you think about the type of coach that they have over there, Ron Rivera, he's a very defensive-minded coach, and he wants a QB that is going to be consistent with the football and who's not going to air it out all the time. Taylor Heinicke is a gunslinger, kind of like Fitzpatrick was, right? He's a gunslinger. He's going to throw the ball. He's going to, and that sometimes means that he's going to get amazing receptions and be able to win games. And then
Last
also
time, I'm gonna say this because it bears saying. The last time Ron Rivera went to a Super Bowl, who was his quarterback?
no, I'm not disagreeing. I understand. I'm pretty sure the last time they went, it was Cam Newton, right? So
It was.
Yep.
And I do not think that Heineke is in the realm of Cam Newton, but that
No.
mold of being able to run and throw and
Yes.
air it out, that works well for what he wants to do.
I'm not disagreeing, but you have to remember Ron Rivera didn't also want Cam Newton that much either. Like, there's a reason why there was that constant tension. So, as much as I believe he has earned a starting spot and he should be starting for this team, I have a feeling that the odds are that he still won't start because Ron Rivera is cut from the same cloth that Mike Zimmer was. He wants somebody who's going to manage the game clock, control the football, make very few errors, stay on the field for a long time, and just run it down your throat. That's the type of Ron Rivera, at least as far as I can tell, that's the type of team he wants, which is very much what Mike Zimmer wanted. It doesn't fucking work unless you have a great defense, and even when you do, it sometimes still doesn't work. It's an outdated style of football. Ron Rivera still makes it work because he does have a great defense. But once he doesn't, it's that type of football doesn't work anymore. I've been calling, people think I've been crazy, but I've been calling for these defensive-minded head coaches to maybe rethink things. Either rethink of a crazy defense, or we need to start pushing into a heavier offense because that's the type because that's where the league is going. The league is going to a heavy gunslinging offense. That's what it is.
You're not wrong. But as a defensive head coach, what they need is flexibility.
Yeah.
I'm good at coaching defenses. I'm going to hire one of these offensive coordinators that's stupidly good at coming up with offense, and I'm going to actually listen to what they say.
I was going to say that's the other option. Either that or you have to bring on somebody who can delegate for you. And the problem is that I think there is too much of the head coaches doing the I run the show. I know what's happening. But
they're
equally,
worried about looking weak or something.
Yeah. Now, if you want a head coach that you can show that pudding to, right? The easiest example that I can come up with is you look at the Vikings head coach, right? He's definitely delegated that defense. He knows the offense. He's very good at the offense. He knows that shit in and out.
He's totally said, I don't know shit
but
about defense, you go run it.
He's admitted that Ed Donatel runs that defense, and that all he has is some say in, like, hey, why is this not working, or why is that not working, or why are we having issues here, why are we having issues there, let's change up things here, maybe we need to rethink things here. So he does still have some input, but he still very much lets Ed run that show. Now, some people may say that might be a mistake because Ed is not producing a great defense. However, Kevin O'Connell has recognized that, shit, I probably couldn't do any better anyways either, so fuck it, let's run with what we got. It's working right now.
We'll get into the coaches and coordinators here in a minute because I've got a couple.
But all I'm saying is that's the closest example of someone who's willing to delegate. There's a reason why we're seeing more and more younger coaches come in. It's because they know how to delegate. No, it doesn't, unfortunately. As we come to my next hot potato, my final hot potato. Maybe the Cardinals' experiment with Cliff Kingsbury isn't fucking working.
Well, I'm eating that shit out of that one. Because that's going to move into something I've got for the next one. But I'm going to eat the shit out of that potato. I'm not going to fully load it, but I'm going to eat the shit out of it.
Yeah.
I'll put some butter on that. Sure.
I've heard people argue, is it Kingsbury or Kyler? It's fucking both, guys. I hate to inform you. Both of them are not working. Now, is it because of the partnership, or do they need to be separated? I don't know. But they're clearly both not working, and you need to either bring in a coach that can manage Kyler, or you need to bring in a coach that's going to let Kyler do what he wants. I don't know if either one of them is a good option. Or
you need to bring in a QB that works with Kingsbury.
Kingsbury, yeah. That's the other option. Which Kingsbury has already had 2 QBs now. I think they're going to let it. I think they're going to... He came in, he picked Rosen. He had Josh Rosen.
He did have Josh Rosen, and I think that he would have wanted to keep Rosen, and I think I feel so bad for Josh Rosen.
Rosen got fucked.
You know where he is now, right?
Isn't he? Is he still with the 49ers practice squad?
No.
Oh, he was for a while.
He's with the Vikings now.
Is he with the... Oh, God, no.
Yes.
He won't... Yes. The thing is, he's been traded around so much.
Yeah, I know, but look at the head coach of the Vikings. Tell me he couldn't do something with Josh Rosen.
He couldn't do anything with Josh Rosen. The pudding is when you have a guy like that who busted, got traded around the league a shit ton. There's a reason why he gets moved around the league. I don't think it's his talent. I think he's got plenty of talent for spades. You
That's
look
what
at
I'm saying. I think
you
he's got confidence issues.
you look at well, I don't even think it's confidence. It might be partially that, but I don't even think it's all that. You look at his interviews prior to the draft. That guy's got an ego the size of a fucking Mack truck. That's that guy. He said even when he got drafted, when he wasn't number one draft picked, he said he felt disrespected because he wasn't number one.
See, I haven't heard a lot of his interviews.
So he's a pompous asshole. Put it that way. He really thinks he and I think that attitude is what ends up getting him drived off all these squads. He's got an attitude where he thinks he's better than a bunch of people. So I think he's got a confidence issue when he's behind center, when he's actually playing games. And on top of that, I think he's got a confidence, or he has an attitude problem in the locker room.
Probably. All right. So that's kind of the end of Hot Potato.
That's the end of Hot Potato.
Enjoyed Hot Potato. Let's move into Dante's Inferno.
Yep. So with Dante's Inferno, basically it's as simple as it's the rings of hell, right? If you don't know the whole poem of Dante's Inferno, it's the several layers of hell. Basically, all we're doing is that it's the equivalent of being on the hot seat. What have you done to deserve your place in Dante's Inferno?
And not exactly. It's more the higher the circle, the higher the heat.
Yeah.
We're not exactly trying to equate it to the different circles because each circle has nothing to do. With neither of us.
It's just that there's 10. If I remember right, there's 10 layers of hell, and basically the concept is that the further in you go, the hotter it is. But it's also like the worst of sinners. We're not dealing with the sin part. We're just dealing with the heat.
Dealing with the heat.
And then at the very end, then we also have in combination is I was going to say that we also have in combination hit the showers. So out of the 6 potential, either whatever it is, whoever's in the hot seat, whoever's in the hot flames, but then out of those 6, we choose 1 or 2 individuals or people that go to the showers.
I only have three for
well, that's
my
what I'm saying.
Inferno,
You have 3, I have 3.
and then I have a totally different list for my hit the showers.
Oh,
Because
see, I was
there's one
picking
guy-
off of the same list.
There's a reason why I've done that, and it's because I reserved hit the showers mostly for players, and it's for like boneheaded plays. Dude, what the hell?
Well, see, they're all fucking combined for me, so.
I'll show you. What
No, I know, but I'm saying mine are all combined.
It's fine if that's how you.
That's just the way I want to do it. Yeah.
No, that's fine. I have a separate list for my hit the showers, although some of them will appear on both lists.
And see, that's why I was trying to avoid that, because quite often a lot of mine end up mixing and matching. I just went fuck it. I'm combining them.
In fact, my first pick is going to end up on both lists.
Yeah, I actually all of mine would have been on both lists, so it doesn't matter.
Mine are not, because I have 2 coaches on my list, on my Inferno list. I have a player as well. We'll start with the player.
Okay.
First off, you need to hit the showers, Zach. Go hit the showers. You're done. Zach Wilson, hit the showers.
I was gonna say, you didn't even rank him in your Inferno. You just went straight to fucking showers.
I went straight to showers, but I will say that due to the fact that he was a 2nd overall pick, and the season's been wonky, and everything else, I also think he has an ego problem the way Josh Rosen did. If Salah can get that fixed out, I think they're going to give him some more rope. I don't have him as deep in as I want to, so I put him middle way in. He's in the 5th circle.
You put him in the 5th circle?
You're feeling the heat. What's that kid's name? Stever? Literally a guy that nobody knows the name of. Came in last night and outplayed you. Mike White has consistently outplayed you. Joe Flacco outplayed you. If you don't fix whatever is wrong with your head, whatever is wrong with whatever's wrong with you, you're not going to be long for New York. They will get rid of you. I feel like he's played his last game this season. I don't think we're going to see him again this season.
Right.
But I don't think he's beyond fixing. I think if he takes an off season and gets his head right, he could come back and potentially compete for a starting job and fix whatever is wrong. Because he didn't have a bad year his first year, but he's been atrocious this season. So as long as he doesn't regress and he progresses next season, that's why he's only in the 5th circle now. Your seat is hot for the moment, but you can fix it. Yeah. So you're only at 5.
So
Also, though, hit the showers. You're done for the season.
I was gonna say you combined yours in one right away. You're like, fuck that, get out of here. Like,
I do. No, absolutely.
See, I'm waiting to do hit the showers until the end of my Inferno, which is fine.
The rest of my hit the showers will be the end of mine.
Okay, that one just happened to tie in. Okay,
That
so
one happened to tie in.
so my first Inferno ranking, we have the combination of Kingsbury and Kyler Murray. They're both kind of a package deal. They're both kind of hot right now. Because the Cardinals have to decide which one they're moving off of. I think with Kyler's contract, they're not moving off of him. They're moving probably off of Kingsbury, but they're both in the hot seat, so to speak, right? They're both in the Inferno.
How far are you going to put them?
With how bad this season is, I'm putting them at like a fucking 7. Like, they're really feeling it. Like, there's a very good chance that Cliff goes at the end of this season. There's a very real opportunity here, and if he can't turn it around, at least get a couple more wins at the end of this season, I think they will move off of him.
That's very interesting, considering that my next circle is Cliff Kingsbury, and I put him in the 7th circle. Cliff, look,
wow.
Dude, he and I agree. You got to figure out whatever the fuck is going on, because you can't coach a defense.
No.
Your offense looks abysmal. Dude, go back to college. I just don't think
that air raid offense that he had worked good for one season. He's been there, I think, 3 or 4, and he's only had.
It didn't look bad even with Kyler that first season.
That's true.
Pretty good.
So we had about a season and a half.
Always suspect.
They had
season and a half
of a good offense.
2 seasons somewhere in there, and then it's just been garbage since.
Yeah.
Something's gone wrong. You don't have a running back. You've got one of the best wide receivers in football, but you may not have him anymore because I think this is his last.
His contract is
deal.
up. Yeah.
His contract is up, and he's not made any bones that he wants to re-sign. I don't think he likes you very much.
No. Well, I mean, the thing is that offense isn't working, and he knows it.
Working.
I think the same thing's going to happen with JJ when his contract comes up. I think he's going to leave. JJ Watt ain't going to stay with that team. Are you kidding me?
No. JJ Watt's not staying with that.
He's the only reason that defense doesn't look atrocious all the time.
You know where I want to see him go?
You want to see him with the Vikings?
No.
Really? Okay.
No. I want to see him join his brothers.
Oh, you want him to go to Pittsburgh?
Both the other Watt brothers are in Pittsburgh. Both TJ and Derek Watt are in Pittsburgh. Derek being the fullback. And I think it would be funny to see TJ, JJ, and Derek all on the same team.
It would be fun, but I think the odds of the Pittsburgh Steelers being able to afford all of them, I think, is unlikely, to be honest with you.
I agree, but I just think it would be funny. Like,
it'd be
JJ
fun, yeah.
Give him a discount. Anyway.
It'd be fun, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think so either. All right. So your next one. What do you got?
Who do I want to pick next? Because I know what I'm going to do with my last pick. Because it's so outrageous, but I still want to put it on there. So what am I going to do with my second pick here? I had one, and I'm trying to remember what it was now. Oh no, I remember what it was. Okay, my number two is if you watch the ending of that Raiders fucking New England game, you know exactly who I'm putting on this fucking list. Jacoby Meyer, my dog. What the fuck were you thinking? Go down, go into OT. The play was dead. There was no reason to even attempt to make that backwards lateral back to Mac Jones. Because here's the thing. They made a very good point, which is the ball has come past the line of scrimmage. Mac Jones can't throw the ball anymore. He can't throw it downfield. You're still fucked. You still have to play a lateral. So even if he gets the ball, it's pointless. It's completely pointless. The play made no sense. You're at a fucking 8, sir. That was egregious. That was awful. And for someone that's a vet, you know fucking better. That's awful.
I can see where that comes from. We'll get to Jacoby for me.
I figured.
He is not in my circles.
Oh, he's in my circles.
Because one play does not end you in my circles.
No, one play still ends up in my circles.
However, I do have a member of the Patriots.
Okay.
In my circles.
Are you going to put Mac Jones on here?
No. I'm going for Matt Patricia.
Matt Patricia, okay.
That's Sir, fair. You are a defensive coordinator calling the offense.
Yeah, it's really dumb. Yeah.
I understand that Bill put you in that position, but you should have told him no. You should have absolutely told him no. Sir, you were at a 9. Sir, you are done.
Your offense is awful.
Hang up your pants.
Yeah.
You're done, sir.
Your offense is bad. Yeah.
You're
where,
done.
Where are you putting
your
them?
Your offense is bad. You're a bad person, apparently.
I don't remember hearing that.
No, absolutely. When he took the job with the Lions, there was a big kerfluffle over him potentially having abused people in.
I don't remember hearing about any of that. Yeah.
Oh, I absolutely do in New England. Yeah, there was a big kerfluffle about that.
Oh.
Like, it came out after he took the job that that something had happened.
Oh, okay.
We're not gonna get into that. Point is, I have heard that you are a bad person. I have heard that you have a bad offense. I've seen your bad offense. Sir, you are in the 9th circle.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
You're in the 9th circle.
My gosh, you really don't like Matt Patricia very much, do you?
I don't.
Clearly.
I don't. Screw that guy.
Wow, fucking hell. Okay, so my last one you might say, Chris, that's extreme. Your take is incredibly extreme. I don't think you should be that extreme with it. But I think they deserve it. I think they honestly deserve it. It's been a couple seasons. Things have not gone well. I think it's time you realize the fucking truth. The entirety of the Colts franchise is at fucking 10. You are burning, motherfuckers. You have been burning.
Wow.
But here's the thing.
Are you? But you're not going to be. I mean, you're going to throw the whole franchise.
The whole franchise. I think it's I think Irsay is part of the problem.
That's what I'm saying. I would have thrown Irsay in there. Like,
I put burn the whole franchise down, my guys. Irsay is actually not a bad owner, but here's the problem: is their reluctance to believe that they need a rebuild. Don't get me wrong. You have an okay offense. You have an okay defense. You have a great running back, but that's all you got. You don't have the offensive line that you had 2-3 years ago. You don't have the defense you had 2 years ago. Most of them have moved on. You don't have the team that you had when you had Andrew Luck. You don't have the team that you had when you had Phillip Rivers. You don't even have the same team that you had last year with Carson Wentz that had a chance at making playoffs. If you had Matt Ryan in any one of those seasons, we would be seeing a better chance team here. But this is not the same team. You clearly have fucked up real bad and need to realize that you're in a full rebuild. Stop bringing in these veteran QBs. Build around your fucking running back who's your superstar, and it's the only superstar you have on that team, period. And rebuild that defense. The fact this is why they're at a 10. I am legitimately angry with how this Colts, I know Colts fans are pissed because they're running this fucking QB carousel, going goddamn nowhere, and keep thinking that every season that they're somehow gonna make fucking playoffs.
You're not incorrect, and I absolutely agree with you. I was going to say, they are the Vancouver Canucks of the NFL. I'll get to that in my hockey corner this week. That is something that I think needed to be talked about. We'll talk about it. Yeah. It's basically your inability or desire to want to actually pull the plug on something and commit to a full rebuild. And it's bad. All right. So, hit the showers part. I've already talked about one guy on my list.
Yep.
Another one did appear on your list. I'm not throwing him in the circles of hill, but Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers, hit the fucking showers, my dude. You're done. Hit the showers. You need to sit out this week. You deserve penance, sir.
That was bad.
Go before penance. Hit the showers.
That was pretty egregious, yeah.
That was very egregious, sir. That was stupid. And you know what? I don't 100% blame you.
No, but again, for a vet to play that, like...
Hold on. I want to say this. The idea coming out of the huddle was that Ramondre Stevenson was going to... I don't even know who the hell is calling me right now. No, I'm recording. Fuck off. I'm sure that was a VA call or something, but I don't care. They can leave a message.
True.
All right. Sir, the point coming out of the huddle was that Stevenson was supposed to take the ball and go down.
Yeah.
He was not supposed to try anything. Ramondre Stevenson decided to go for it, broke the play himself, and then lateraled. And it worked out for him. You should have gone down.
You should have gone down, gone out of bounds,
you're the vet,
something.
You're the vet. Stevenson is younger. You should have known better. Go down.
Yeah.
Go down. Go to overtime. Give yourselves a chance.
Exactly.
Instead, you cost your team the game. Hit the showers, my dude.
Exactly. I 100% agree with that. Like, here's the thing. People that are giving him a break being like, oh, so-and-so should have done this show. I get that. I do. But you are the vet who has been relied on in the past for good reason. You have been the person that Bill Belichick has gone to before for certain plays because of your veteran status. This is not going to make you look good in Bill's eyes. That's all I'm going to say about that. Bill's going to remember this. Bill was pissed.
Yeah.
And you're going to get an ass chewing if you haven't already.
Yeah.
So.
All right,
that
what
was,
else you got for yours?
Oh, that was my last circle. But I do have one hit the showers. You have, I think, like 3 hit the showers. I have only 1.
I have 3. I've already done 2.
Because I only think 1 absolutely deserves hit the showers. It's fucking the Colts, dude. Jim Irsay, hit the fucking showers, bro. Figure your shit out. Like, it might be your GM. I don't care if it's your GM, if you have to fire your GM. I don't care if you have to fire your coach and your GM. Jeff Saturday. Yeah, exactly. I already got right. Get rid of Jeff Saturday. He is not your head coach, obviously.
You know what's funny? The coach they had, Frank Reich, used to have the largest comeback.
I know. And then the very next week they lose his record.
Not only do you fire your coach, you take his record from him. You jerks. No, totally. No. Hit the showers.
Hit the showers. Your whole franchise needs to figure that shit out. And clearly, Jim, here's the thing. I'm talking straight to you, Jim. I'm looking directly in my camera to talk strictly to Jim. Figure your shit out. Fire everyone. I don't care what it takes, but this is a Colts franchise that has a lot of history, and frankly, the last 4 years ain't fucking good enough. And there we go. Now I feel better.
All right. I've got my last one. I'm going to dig on something that a lot of fans like to complain about, but I think they deserve every ounce when I say the refs. Specifically from that Colts and Vikings game.
Those refs were
and
pretty
the
bad.
Commanders-Giants game.
Oh, there was more,
you
too.
Motherfuckers. Oh, yeah, but those were the most egregious. You motherfuckers hit the showers.
Learn how to ref.
Gone. Throwing you out of the game. Red card. Bye.
Jeez, that was bad.
Get out of the game. My God. The end of that game. First, you've got the penalty for the Commanders with the guy who wasn't on the line. He looked over at the ref, and the ref was like, yeah, you're good. Here's the flag.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
And then they throw to the guy, Samuel, at the end of the game, and he's wearing a defender like he's a fucking coat.
Yeah, I saw that.
And there's no flag.
Yeah.
No. Abysmal. No. The fumble from the Vikings game.
Abysmal. Both of them.
Oh, both of them. Oh, my God. No. Guys, look. I understand that the refs had a problem early on. They had a strike, everything else, so you're worried about pissing them off again. I get that from several years ago. But guys, you got to stop hiring people that have to use their hands to count to 10 to be NFL referees.
That's true.
Hit the showers. You're done. All right.
To be fair, I'll give the refs a slight break. Most of this year has actually been pretty good. This was just a really bad week. This was a really off week for you guys.
It was really bad. Most of the year's been pretty good.
Most of the year has been pretty decent. There's been a couple bad calls here and there, but the last week was really bad. Yeah.
All right. So, do we want to do a hockey corner?
Do you want to do the hockey corner now? If you're good.
Quick hockey corner.
Okay, go ahead. For anyone that doesn't know, Matt is the guy that does more hockey than I do. He's got his own takes on hockey. All I'm going to do is challenge any ideas that he comes up with, play devil's advocate since I don't know as much about hockey, and we'll see what happens.
All right. So this week I'm going to keep it simple because I really wasn't planning on doing a hockey corner, but I want to do something. Overall, the league is decent. I think the East Division is way stronger than the West.
What makes the East stronger than the West?
If you look at the standings, out of the top 10 teams in the NHL right now, I believe it's 8 of them are Eastern teams, and 2 of them are Western teams. It's simply
who's leading right now?
The Boston Bruins.
Really, the Bruins? Okay.
The Bruins. It's the Bruins, the Maple Leafs, the Devils, and then I Ooh, you're gonna test my knowledge after that because I want to say it's the Golden Knights
Okay.
are fourth,
Vegas, yeah.
and that's the first Western team.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very Eastern, or it might be Tampa and then Golden Knights.
Okay.
They've got
Somewhere
a
around
lot
there.
of talent. They've got a lot of talent out east. Now, the disparity is much heavier over in the East, because you've got all the haves, and then you've got the definitive have-nots. We're going to talk about a Western Conference team. I promised I'd do it. You're
Okay.
fine. We're going to talk about a Western Conference team today. I promised I'd do it. I want to do it. I want to talk about it. I brought them up already. We're going to talk about the team up in Vancouver, British Columbia,
Okay.
known as the Vancouver Canucks. Okay, guys, what the fuck are you doing? Honestly, what are you doing? Do you know what you're doing? I don't think you know what you're doing anymore. Oh my god. So your refusal to admit that your team build is shit
Yeah.
has led to your current conundrums. You re-signed to a massive deal the wrong guy. You re-signed JT Miller. Now, from an actual perspective of points, JT Miller is a hell of a player. He's going to get a lot of assists. He's going to get a lot of goals. He's a hell of a shooter. He's one of the best offensive players in the league, in my opinion. However, he pairs that with what could best be called the worst defense, period.
Okay.
The guy is the biggest liability. Like, you would be better off playing 4-on-5 rather than having him on the ice.
Jesus.
When it comes to defense, he is bad, and you have signed him to a massive extension.
Gotcha.
He is now unmovable thanks to the salary cap, and you're stuck with him, and you're stuck with Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who, is he a bad player? No. Is he overpaid? Yes, because he's a defenseman that I believe shoots right-handed, and they are always overpaid. Guys, Bo Horvat, you're going to lose Bo Horvat. You're going to lose a lot of people. I understand that recently it's come out that maybe you're willing to trade everybody except like Elias Pettersson to include Quinn Hughes, which I think that would be a massive mistake. But at this point, dudes, you're in full tank mode. You don't realize it, and you need to. You need to start shedding assets that you're not going to be able to keep. You need to start looking at. You got to find a trade for Bo Horvat. You're going to have to find a trade for Brock Besser. You're going to have to find trades for these people because you're not going to be able to keep them. You're going to go full tank. You're in on the Bedard sweepstakes. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, they have a generational Wayne Gretzky, Connor McDavid style guy coming out named, of course, Connor Bedard. So we'll get to talking about the other Connor here in a little while, McDavid. But dudes, I don't know if it's the new GM, who wasn't informed when they fired the coach that they had and then hired a new one because he was, I think, hospitalized or something. Something was going on where he hadn't fully taken power yet.
Okay.
So, and I don't know if the GM is, because we've long suspected that the owners are a group of people named the Aquilini family. Francesco Aquilini and his people own them. Now, we're curious if maybe the GM is going, you know what? You want me to construct the team how you want them to construct because you like them? Fine, I'll do it. Oh, look, it sucks. Maybe you'll let me do it my way now?
Mm.
And so there's the theory that that's happening. And if that is happening, bully on you, GM. And if that's what's going on, dude, Aquilini's, back off. I know you own the team, but come on. You have no fucking clue what you're doing. So that's my hockey corner. Vancouver Canucks, figure your shit out. Stop being an embarrassment.
They're the current Colts team, or I guess Texans, depending on how you look at it. The Texans, I think, have admitted. The Texans at least admit that they're at the bottom. I think
the current Texans team would be the Arizona Coyotes, who are in the middle of a full rebuild, and everybody knows it. They have their own embarrassing things. The Ducks are kind of down there too. But again, these are teams that have admitted they are on.
They know that they're basically rebuilding.
They're in the middle of a full rebuild, and they know it. The Canucks are the ones that refuse to admit they need one, and every year they make trades trying to get into it,
trying to still stay in it. Yeah,
trying to stay relevant, and it's led to the current situation. There.
So literally the Colts with the QB carousel.
Yes, it's bad.
Gotcha.
All right. So that's Hockey Corner. We'll do another one. We'll do another one next week. I'll figure out what topic I want to talk about. Probably be the Oilers and McDavid.
Fair enough. Okay.
Because Ken Holland needs a talking to. Okay. All right. So that being said, let's do the last thing before we do the outro. Let's throw out some game balls. You want to throw out some game balls?
I'll let you go first. You throw out the first game ball.
All right, I'll throw out the first game ball. Game ball, Kirk Cousins, 34-54, 460 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, largest comeback in NFL history. Game ball, sir.
That's fair. I think he deserves a game ball, but you know who else deserves a game ball on that team? It's fucking Justin Jefferson. JJ deserves a fucking game ball. Everyone fucking knows it.
Yep. Oh no, I totally agree with you.
Yep.
I tried to limit mine to 1 person per team when I did it.
That's why I figured. That's why I wanted you to go first, because I figured you were gonna pick one of them. So I was gonna pick the other.
I picked Kirky.
Yep.
Good job. JJ deserves it too.
Yep.
Game ball number 2. In a losing effort, sir, Justin Fields. 14 of 21, 152 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 15 rushes, 95 yards. Sir, game ball.
That's fair.
You kept your team against the number 1 team in the NFC for longer than anybody thought they should be. Game ball.
You know what? That's pretty fair. I can totally understand that. But you know who else deserves a game ball? Another team that has been playing really well, outstanding. They deserve recognition for it. Trevor Lawrence, here's your fucking game ball, bro. You deserve to be recognized.
Choose Trevor Lawrence. It's going to lead into my third game ball.
Yep.
Sir, Zay Jones.
Zay Jones, yep.
8 targets, 6 receptions, 109 receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns. Didn't have the great a game last night that he had the week prior, but for that week prior, sir, game ball, you helped Trevor Lawrence look like $1 million. Good job.
Exactly. And frankly, I think Trevor Lawrence does a good job of making himself look like $1 million recently too.
Oh, absolutely. I'm saying that he doesn't. That dude, 109 yards, 3 touchdowns. Yeah, you're doing something right.
All right. So my last game ball, I got one more to give out, and this might be a little cheeky. You might consider this cheating even, but you know what? Houston Texans defense, you all get a game ball. The defense is the only thing that kept them in that game, and they still lost, and it was definitely the defense that could have played better, but the way that OT happened and the way that they ended up on a short field, I don't blame the Texans defense for that. The fact that they were able to keep Patrick Mahomes down to as little as they did, Texans did, I think the Texans defense is there wasn't any one standout player that played amazing. I think the entire defense played better than they were expected to. So they collectively get a game ball.
I tried to find a Texan to give a game ball to. I couldn't. I looked at the stats and I was like, there are better things to give game balls to. Yep. So that's the game balls. Before we go, I do want to throw out a special one-time World Cup game ball.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to throw it out to, I don't even know how to say his name, Mbappe? The guy who plays for the French national team, Hattie. He had a hat trick.
Oh, okay.
To keep the French national team in that game. If you score a Hattie in the championship game for the World Cup,
that's big.
Dude, sir, game ball. I know you didn't win, but game ball.
You definitely tried. You definitely tried.
You are that team. Good job.
Yep.
So for anybody that watches soccer or football or footy,
whatever you want to call it, yeah.
I don't think we're going to see anybody that does. But if you do, sir,
you get recognition. Yeah.
You get recognition for that. All right. So that's pretty much this week's podcast. We'll be back again next week. We'll try to watch the games this week and see how we do again. Currently, I have a better record than my brother does, but I have taken some real risks this week. We will see how this bearded brother does. One of the things I do want to bring up that I'm looking at doing, and if we get any sort of engagement and people want to get in on this, I would like to hear from you. So in order to do that, smash the like, smash the subscribe, turn on the bell for notifications so that you know when we're uploading and doing awesome shit. I would like to do trade dissections for the NHL. They don't need to be in our podcasts. I want to do them as a separate video, so I'll record them and edit them, and I'll try to get my editing software up.
Yeah.
That's something that I want to do because I have quite a few of them, and they're always interesting to look at, and there's a couple that I want to look at. And the one that I wanted to start with is bonkers beyond belief, and it is the Ulf Samuelsson trade dissection. So for those of you that don't know, he's a dick. And I think the greatest moment my favorite moment of his career was when the Albanian assassin, a dude named Ty Domi, just probably gave up more than 100 pounds and at least a foot to him, and still knocked him cold, cocked him right in the face, out on the ice. Oh my God, it was like, boom, boom, done. Wow, he was screwing with Domi the whole game, and Domi just had enough of it. Oh, it's amazing. One of the greatest things I've seen. It's so funny. That's back in like the 90s.
Oh, okay, that was a while ago.
Oh, it was a while ago. We'll talk about that trade and how it ended up bringing 5 Stanley Cups to a team.
That's fair. That's good work done. Yeah.
If I get my software and everything up, I would love to show that to everybody. All right, guys. Outside of that, again, I'm Matt.
I'm Chris.
And this has been yet another sports podcast with bearded weirdos.
We'll see you next week.
Guys. See you next week.